Hello, and welcome to Speak Better Practice.
You know, Lily, I've been thinking about my habits lately.
Oh, really? What made you think about them?
Well, this morning I realized I do the exact same thing every single morning. I wake up, stretch, check the weather on my phone, and then I immediately head to the kitchen.
That sounds familiar. What do you do in the kitchen?
I always start with a glass of cold water. Then I turn on the kettle for tea. While the water boils, I open the window to get some fresh air.
That's a lovely morning routine. I'm quite different. I tend to hit the snooze button at least twice before I actually get up.
Only twice? That's not so bad.
Well, sometimes it's 3 times. Then I stumble to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and look in the mirror thinking, why am I so tired?
Every single day?
Pretty much. But after my shower, I feel much better. Then I can start my day properly.
It's interesting how we all have these little patterns we follow.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. How to talk about these patterns, these habits in English. Before we go further, let's talk about how we express habits in English.
Good idea. There are some important words we use when talking about how often we do things.
These are called adverbs of frequency. They tell us how regularly something happens.
For example, if something happens 100% of the time, we say always. I always brush my teeth before bed. Every single night, no exceptions.
On the other hand, if something never happens, we use never. I never drink coffee after 6 p.m., not even once.
Between always and never, we have words like usually. That's about 80 to 90% of the time.
Often is maybe 60 to 70% of the time. I often go jogging in the park.
Sometimes is right in the middle, maybe 40 to 50%. I sometimes cook dinner, but sometimes I order takeout.
And rarely or seldom means not very often, maybe 10 to 20% of the time.
These words usually come before the main verb, but they come after the verb to be.
For example, I usually wake up early, but I am usually awake by 7 a.m.
Got it? Great. Now let's practice using these words as we talk about real habits.
Let's start with morning habits, since we already began talking about them.
Morning routines are so personal, aren't they? Everyone does something different.
They really are. Tom, what's the absolute first thing you do when you open your eyes?
Honestly, I usually grab my phone from the nightstand.
To check the time?
To check the time, yes, but also to see if I have any important messages or emails.
I do the same thing, though I know it's probably not the healthiest habit.
My optometrist told me I should look out the window first thing to give my eyes natural light instead of screen light.
That's smart advice. Do you follow it?
Sometimes I try, but old habits are hard to break. After checking my phone, I always stretch while still in bed. It helps wake up my body.
I rarely stretch in bed. I'm usually in such a rush that I jump right up.
Why are you in a rush?
Because I hit snooze so many times. By the time I actually get up, I'm already behind schedule.
That's funny. What about breakfast? Do you have a breakfast routine?
I do. I always have breakfast. I can't function without it. I usually make scrambled eggs with toast. It's quick and filling.
Every day the same thing?
Most days, yes. But on weekends, I sometimes make pancakes or French toast. What about you?
I'm more of a light breakfast person. I typically have yogurt with granola and honey. And I always add berries, blueberries or strawberries.
That sounds healthy and delicious.
It is, but I must confess, I never make coffee at home.
Never?
Never. I always stop at a coffee shop on my way to work. It's become my little morning treat.
That's an expensive habit, though.
I know. But the barista knows my order, and it makes me feel good to start the day with a nice coffee and a friendly conversation.
Speaking of work, let's talk about work habits. Tom, when you get to work, what's the first thing you do?
I always check my email first thing. Then I usually make a priority list of the 3 most important tasks for the day.
Only 3 tasks.
Only 3 main ones. If I write more, I feel overwhelmed. I often complete those 3 and then add more if I have time.
That's a good strategy. I tend to write everything down. Big tasks, small tasks, everything.
And does that work for you?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I often get distracted by the small, easy tasks and forget about the important ones.
That's a common problem. We usually do the easy things first because they make us feel productive.
Exactly. Another work habit I have is taking breaks. I always take a break every 90 minutes.
What do you do during your break?
I usually stand up, walk around the office, maybe get some water or tea. I sometimes step outside for fresh air if the weather is nice.
I rarely take regular breaks. I often just work straight through until lunch.
Tom, that's not healthy. You need to rest your eyes and your brain.
You're right. I should build that habit. What time do you usually eat lunch?
I typically eat around 1 p.m. I'm not very hungry at noon. Do you eat lunch at your desk?
I often do, yes. I usually eat while answering emails or reading articles.
That's another bad habit. You should take a proper lunch break.
I know. I'm learning all about my bad habits today.
Let's move on to evening habits. What do you do after work, Tom?
After work, I usually feel quite drained, so I typically go straight home. I rarely go out on weekday evenings.
What do you do when you get home?
First, I always change into comfortable clothes immediately. I can't relax in my work clothes.
Me too. I never stay in my work clothes for longer than 5 minutes after getting home.
Then I usually prepare dinner. I often cook simple meals: pasta, stir-fry, salads. Things that don't take too long.
Do you cook every evening?
Most evenings, yes. But I sometimes order takeout on Fridays because I'm too tired after a long week.
That's fair. I'm not much of a cook, so I usually prepare easy things too. I often make a big pot of soup on Sunday and eat it throughout the week.
That's smart. Meal prep is a great habit. What do you do after dinner?
I always wash the dishes right away. I hate waking up to a dirty kitchen.
I'm the opposite. I often leave the dishes in the sink and wash them before bed or the next morning.
Tom, another bad habit.
I prefer to think of it as delaying, not avoiding. After dishes, or after not doing dishes, I usually watch something on TV.
What do you watch?
I typically watch documentaries or series. I'm currently watching a nature documentary series about oceans.
That sounds interesting. I usually watch lighter shows, sitcoms or cooking shows. I need something that doesn't require too much thinking after a long day.
I understand that completely. Do you have any habits before bed?
I have a whole bedtime routine. I always take a warm shower about an hour before bed. Then I usually read for 20 to 30 minutes.
Physical books or on a device?
Always physical books. I never read on my phone or tablet before bed because the blue light keeps me awake.
That's a healthy habit. I should do that. Instead, I often scroll through social media in bed.
How often?
Almost every night. I tell myself I'll only look for 5 minutes, but it usually turns into 30 minutes or more.
That's a habit worth changing. The blue light and the stimulation from social media can really affect your sleep quality.
You're absolutely right. I rarely sleep well after spending time on my phone.
Now let's talk about weekends. Are your weekend habits very different from weekdays?
Oh yes, completely different. On Saturday mornings, I never set an alarm. I just wake up naturally.
What time is that usually?
Around 9 or 9:30. Sometimes even 10 if I'm really tired. It's such a luxury.
I'm the opposite. My body always wakes me up around 7 a.m., even on weekends. I can never sleep in.
Really? Even if you stay up late?
Even then, my internal clock is very strong. What do you do on Saturday mornings?
I usually make a big, slow breakfast. I often make a full English breakfast. Eggs, bacon, mushrooms, tomatoes, the works.
That sounds amazing. And what about the rest of Saturday?
I typically clean my apartment on Saturday mornings. I always do laundry, vacuum, and tidy up.
Every Saturday?
Almost every Saturday. It's become a routine I actually enjoy. There's something satisfying about having a clean home for the weekend.
I usually clean on Sunday afternoons instead. On Saturdays, I often meet friends for brunch or lunch.
That sounds lovely. Where do you go?
We usually try different restaurants around the city. We're always looking for new places.
What a fun habit. And Sundays?
Sunday is my prep day. I usually do grocery shopping, meal prep for the week, and I often do some planning for the week ahead.
You sound very organized.
I try to be. Sunday evenings are my relaxation time, though. I always take a long bath with candles and music.
That's a wonderful self-care habit.
Now let's be honest about our bad habits. We've mentioned a few already.
Oh boy, where do I start? I often procrastinate, especially with boring tasks.
What do you procrastinate on?
Paperwork, mostly. I sometimes let bills pile up before I pay them. And I rarely organize my files, whether digital or physical.
I have a similar problem. I never delete old emails. My inbox has thousands of unread messages.
Thousands? That would stress me out.
I usually just ignore it. Another bad habit I have is snacking late at night. I often eat chips or cookies while watching TV.
How late?
Sometimes as late as 11 p.m. or midnight. I know it's terrible for my digestion and sleep.
I have that same habit. I typically crave something sweet after dinner.
Another one of my bad habits is that I rarely exercise. I always have good intentions, but I seldom actually go to the gym.
How often do you go?
Maybe once or twice a month. I always think, I'll start next week, but next week never comes.
I understand that feeling. My bad habit is staying up too late. I usually go to bed after midnight, even when I have to wake up early.
Why do you stay up so late?
I often get caught up in watching videos or reading articles. I tell myself, just one more, but it never is.
We really need to work on these habits.
Okay, we've talked about so many habits. Now let's review some key vocabulary.
Great idea. Let's make sure everyone understands the important words we've been using.
First, let's talk about the word habit itself. Lily, what's a habit?
A habit is an action or behavior that you do regularly, often without thinking about it. It becomes automatic over time.
Can you give us 3 examples?
Sure. Biting your nails is a habit. Drinking coffee every morning is a habit. Checking your phone constantly is a habit.
Perfect. Now, let's review those frequency words. Let's start with always. I always brush my teeth twice a day.
This means every single time, 100%. There are no exceptions. I always lock my door when I leave home. I never forget.
Now the opposite. Never. I never eat breakfast in bed.
Never means not even once. 0% of the time. I never smoke. Not ever.
What about usually?
Usually means most of the time. Around 80 to 90%. I usually drink tea in the morning. Most days I do, but occasionally I might have juice instead.
I usually walk to work. It's my normal routine, but sometimes if it's raining heavily, I take the bus.
Next is often. This means frequently, many times. I often listen to podcasts while I'm cooking.
How is often different from usually?
Good question. Usually suggests it's your normal routine, while often just means it happens frequently, but maybe not as regularly.
I see. So I usually have lunch at 1 p.m. means that's my regular lunchtime. But I often eat salad for lunch means I eat salad frequently, but not every day.
Exactly. Now what about sometimes?
Sometimes means occasionally, on some occasions, but not others. It's about 40 to 50% of the time. I sometimes go to the cinema on weekends.
I sometimes stay up past midnight, but not very often.
Then we have rarely or seldom.
These words mean not often, only occasionally. Maybe 10 to 20% of the time. I rarely eat fast food. Maybe once every few months.
I seldom watch live TV anymore. Almost everything I watch is streaming.
Great examples. Now let's talk about routine. What's a routine, Tom?
A routine is a sequence of actions that you do regularly in the same order. It's like a pattern or a schedule you follow.
Your morning routine might be wake up, shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, brush teeth, leave for work. the same order every day.
My bedtime routine is shower, brush teeth, read for 15 minutes, turn off lights, sleep.
Having a routine can make life easier because you don't have to think about what to do next.
Now, let's look at some phrasal verbs we use with habits. Wake up, to stop sleeping and become conscious.
I wake up at 7 a.m. every weekday. The alarm wakes me up.
Get up, to physically rise from bed.
I wake up at 7, but I don't actually get up until 7:15.
Give up, to stop doing something, to quit a habit.
I'm trying to give up drinking soda. It has too much sugar.
Cut down on, to reduce the amount of something you do.
I need to cut down on screen time before bed. I spend too much time on my phone.
Build up, to gradually develop or create something, like a good habit.
I'm trying to build up my exercise routine. I started with 10 minutes a day. Now I do 20.
These are all very useful phrases for talking about habits.
Wow, we've covered so much today.
We really have. Let's do a quick recap.
Today we learned how to talk about habits in English. We discussed different types of habits: morning habits, work habits, evening habits, and weekend habits.
We practiced using frequency adverbs: always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never.
We talked about good habits like exercising regularly, eating healthy food, and having a consistent sleep schedule.
And we were honest about bad habits like procrastinating, eating late at night, and spending too much time on our phones.
We learned that habits are behaviors we do regularly, often automatically, and that they can be positive or negative.
We also learned that routines are sequences of habits that we follow in the same order.
The important thing to remember is that habits can be changed. It takes time and effort, but you can build new good habits and break old bad ones.
Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one habit to work on and be consistent.
Great advice, Tom.
Now it's your turn to practice. We have a question for you.
Here's today's question. What is one good habit you have, and what is one habit you want to develop?
Write your answer in the comments below. Try to use some of the vocabulary we learned today.
For example, you could write, my good habit is that I always drink water when I wake up. I want to develop the habit of reading before bed instead of using my phone.
Or, I usually exercise 3 times a week, which is a good habit. But I want to build the habit of going to bed earlier.
We read every single comment, and we love hearing about your English learning journey.
Don't worry about making mistakes. The most important thing is to practice.
Writing in English is one of the best ways to improve, so please share your thoughts with us.
We have a gift for you.
Just click the link in the description to download the file for free and reinforce what you've learned.
Thank you so much for watching today's lesson.
We hope you learned some useful ways to talk about your daily habits in English.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more English learners.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.
That's going to be a very useful lesson.
Until then, keep practicing your English and remember, developing the habit of daily practice is the best way to improve.
See you next video.
Bye, everyone!